Available now. Link below.
And now in our explosive report, we're diving deep into a story that's sending shockwaves through the heart of our republic. Imagine for a moment a world where speaking out against injustice is met with a gag order, where the voices of the bold and the brave are silenced by the very system sworn to protect freedom. This isn't just any story. This is the story of Donald Trump, a man who's become the focal point of what many are calling the most egregious political witch hunt in American history. As Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg seeks to muzzle Trump with a gag order ahead of his trial, we're left to question, where do we draw the line between justice and persecution? So stay with us for a report that not only asks the hard questions, but dares to seek the truth. Because what unfolds in the next few minutes could redefine the future of political discourse in America. And you don't want to miss our final thought on why this matters to every single American. Now, folks, before we dive into the heart of our special report tonight, let's take a quick moment, just like the unyielding spirit of those who stand against the tide of political persecution. We bring you news that cuts through the noise, all thanks to our incredible sponsors. In a world where the battle against excess is constant, not just in politics but in our health, many are discovering a groundbreaking solution for managing weight. Now, this innovative formula is designed to reduce fat storage, speed up fat breakdown, and boost metabolism, echoing our fight against the deep-seated issues that are facing our nation. And for those who stand with us, there is a special offer, a 51% discount at trimwithgary.com. So that's right, join the fight against excess at trimwithgary.com. Now, in the latest chapter of what many are describing as the political saga of the century, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg has made a move that could only be seen as unprecedented in the annals of American jurisprudence. By seeking a gag order against former President Donald Trump ahead of his trial, Bragg isn't just targeting a single individual. He's striking at the very heart of the First Amendment rights that serve as the bedrock of our republic. This isn't merely a legal maneuver. It's a frontal assault on the principle of free speech, a cornerstone upon which this nation was built. Now, this request for a gag order ostensibly to protect jurors and witnesses might seem reasonable at first glance. However, when viewed through the lens of the ongoing political persecution of Trump, it takes on a darker hue. It's an attempt to silence a voice that has been at the forefront of challenging the established order, a voice that resonates with millions of Americans who feel unheard and unseen by the political elites. Let's take a look.
Manhattan prosecutors in former President Donald Trump's hush money case are asking the judge to impose a gag order ahead of the trial. They argue Trump has a, quote, long history of public and inflammatory remarks about people involved in his legal cases. Prosecutors want to bar him from making comments or directing others to do so that could interfere with the case or harass those involved, including their families. Jury selection begins on March 25th. So let's bring in Jessica Levinson. She is a CBS News legal contributor and a professor at Loyola Law School. Jessica, very good to see you. This is not the first time, though, that the president has dealt with a gag order. So how do orders like this benefit the parties involved? And does one side tend to benefit more than the other?
Well, in this case, the prosecution thinks that they would be able to benefit by ensuring that this trial can proceed without the inflammatory remarks that we've seen in the past. And as you said, the prosecution is asking for this as basically pointing to past behavior, saying we have to protect the prosecutors, we have to protect the court staff, we have to protect the witnesses, and all of that means we have to protect the administration of justice. You know, we've been here before where we've talked about protecting jurors and protecting jurors in their ability to consider just the facts and the law. So in this case, I think it is clear that the prosecution thinks that this would benefit them. I think we can expect the former president to make the same arguments that he always does, which is that this is a court trying to silence him, literally trying to gag him, and that this is an infringement of his First Amendment rights.
And Jessica, we are just getting news right now that former President Trump is also trying to block Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen from testifying in this case. What are the chances that that would actually be successful?
I don't think that that would necessarily be successful to block all of their testimony. Now, there may be some detailed arguments about whether there are some things that they would testify to which would not be relevant or would be more prejudicial than relevant and probative. But when it comes to those witnesses, I think they have a key story to tell, because let's remember, this is a case about allegedly falsifying business records, saying that payments to Michael Cohen were legal payments, whereas in reality, the prosecution says those were payments made in order for Trump to silence Stormy Daniels, to make sure that the story didn't get out, to ensure that he could win the election. And therefore, these payments were made in furtherance of trying to win the election. They seem to me to have very useful information on those questions.
Now, the narrative spun by Bragg and his office is one of protection, shielding the judicial process from the supposed threat posed by Trump's outspokenness. Yet this narrative falls apart upon closer examination. Trump, throughout his presidency and post-presidency, has been a figure of relentless scrutiny and unending criticism, facing accusations and investigations that would have overwhelmed any lesser man. Despite this, he has remained steadfast, a testament to his resilience and commitment to the American people. And Trump's response to the gag order, and indeed his handling of the entire situation, is emblematic of his broader approach to governance and public life. He's been unapologetic in his defense of his actions, transparent in his communications with the American public, and unwavering in his condemnation of what he rightly identifies as a witch hunt. Now, this isn't the behavior of a man who seeks to undermine the judicial process. It's the response of someone who is fighting for his right to speak, and by extension, for the rights of all Americans to hear the truth. Now, the charges against Trump relating to hush money payments to Stormy Daniels are themselves a matter of contention. The fact that these charges are being pursued now, years after the alleged events, and coincidentally, as we move closer to the 2024 presidential election, raises serious questions about the motivations behind this trial. This seems to be less about justice and more about political expediency, an attempt to derail the potential candidacy of Trump in the upcoming election. Now, critics of the DA, they move to point out the inherent contradiction in arguing for a gag order to protect the integrity of the trial. If the concern truly lies with ensuring a fair and unbiased proceeding, then the focus should be on the evidence and the law, not on silencing a defendant's ability to speak out against what he perceives as an injustice. This is not just about Donald Trump. It's about setting a precedent that can be used against any individual who finds themselves at odds with those in power. The implications of this gag order extend far beyond the courtroom and immediate parties involved. They touch on the essence of our republic, on the ability of the people to receive information, to hear from those who represent them, and to form their own opinions. By seeking to muzzle Trump, Bragg is not just attacking a single individual. He's attacking the public's right to know and to engage in the political process fully informed. Moreover, the attempt to place a gag order on Trump contradicts the principles of transparency and accountability that the legal system is supposed to uphold. In a healthy republic, the public's access to thoughts and speech of public figures, especially those as pivotal as Donald Trump, is crucial. It allows for informed debate, for the weighing of evidence and arguments, and for the ultimate accountability of public officials through the electoral process. As we delve deeper into the details of the case, it becomes increasingly clear that the pursuit of Trump is fraught with political motivations. The DA's office, in its zeal to prosecute Trump, appears to be overlooking the fundamental legal principle of innocence until proven guilty. Instead, they seem to be operating under a presumption of guilt, with the trial merely a formality to confirm what they've already decided. So this is not justice. It's political theater. It's a calculated attempt to use the legal system as a weapon against a political opponent, to silence dissent, and to intimidate those who would dare to challenge the status quo. And this is not what America stands for. This is not what our republic was founded upon. So throughout this ordeal, Trump has shown himself to be more than just a politician. He's been a fighter for the American way of life. He stood up against the forces that seek to undermine our freedoms, to erode our rights, and to silence our voices. In facing this trial and the possibility of a gag order, Trump is not just defending himself, he's defending the very principles that make America great. So as we watch this legal drama unfold, it's essential to remember what is at stake here. This is not just about a trial about hush money payments. It's a trial about the soul of America. It's about whether we will allow fear and political prosecution to dictate our political discourse, or whether we will stand up for the rights and freedoms that our forefathers fought and died for. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. As we close tonight's report, it's crucial to reflect on the broader implications of what we have discussed here. The attempt to gag Donald Trump isn't just about silencing a former president. It's a dire warning to every American who dares to challenge the entrenched power structures that govern our nation. This isn't merely a legal battle, it's a fight for the soul of our republic. When the mechanisms of justice are wielded as weapons of political warfare, we must all stand vigilant against the erosion of our foundational liberties. The saga transcends political affiliations, touching the core of what it means to live in a free society. So let us remember, the strength of our republic lies not in the silencing of dissenting voices, but in the robust exchange of ideas, the very cornerstone of our republic. Our future depends on our courage to uphold these principles now more than ever.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.